Hello, this is Jen from Newton's Nook Designs. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how I made this fun set of coffee-themed cards using our Fracture Card Layout die set and our Natural Basics paper pad. These products go perfectly together and it's so easy to make a set of 4 cards. First you need to use our Fracture Card Layout die set, and then I chose our Natural Basics paper pad. You could choose any paper pad you like, but I thought this one would go great with the coffee theme I wanted to do. So I'm just paging through the paper here, and you can see there's all kinds of fun patterns. I chose ones that I thought would work well together. And I think if you're choosing just basic patterns like this, you want to try to do some stripes, some gingham, some polka dots, so they're not all the same. And that just looks really nice and pleasing together. These papers are all 6 by 6, but we don't actually need them to be that wide to cut out with this die. So I went ahead and took 1.5 inches off the side of each piece, and now they're going to fit perfectly with our fracture card layout die. Next, we're just going to cut all the pieces out. Here I've got 3 of them cut out, and I'm just showing you the third one coming apart. So these big pieces are really easy to pop out. You can just stick them with your finger like that, and they pop right out. And then that center piece is a little bit trickier, but you just take your poke tube to get it started, and that makes it easy enough to pull out. So now we've got 4 sets of all the pieces that are included in that fractured card layout die. I have one more tip when you're using this die, is because it's such a big die, it works better if you put it through your die cut machine at an angle. That just puts a little bit less pressure on the machine and makes it easier to pass through, and you get better die cutting results. Pulling out all those center frames because I'm not going to use them on the project today. I'm just setting those aside and I'll save them for a different project. I cut it out again 4 times out of a chocolate brown cardstock, and that's what we're going to use on the cards I created today. I also am going to take out the squares out of pattern paper that were the centers because I'm going to use white centers, so I don't need those either. So I'm going to take those out, and again, I'll save them for another project. So here are the white squares I cut out. And when you're doing something like that, where you're just cutting the center, you don't necessarily have to cut the whole thing. You can cut a piece of paper that's about the size you need and tape that on the back or the front with some washi tape, and then just go ahead and cut out just that portion. That way you can save some paper if you don't need all the pieces. Now I'm just going to go through and kind of sort all my pieces together, so when I arrange my cards, it's easier to find the piece I need. So in the end, you should have one of each of the shapes and one of each of the pattern papers. Then I'm going to go ahead and take my center frame and kind of organize how I want my card to look. So I'm going to decide which piece goes where. And as I'm doing this, I realize that I don't actually have it in the right orientation, so I'm looking at my die to see which way I like it. Now you could definitely rotate it and do a different way, but I'm going to do it the same way it appears in the die. So the biggest piece is going to go in the lower corner. So I put my piece of the hearts down there, and then some stripes up in that corner, and then some gingham there, and then the darker polka dot in there. And then I decided that the hearts and the polka dots were too similar, so I'm going to mix it up and kind of do every other one so that the patterns mix up a little better. So now I've decided how I'm going to put it together. That white's going to go in the middle. So now all I need to do is put it all together. And here I'm going to share a tip with you. The easiest way to put this together, since it doesn't have an outer frame, is to cut a piece of copy paper that's 4 by 5 1/4, because that's what the finished design turns out to be. And now I'm just going to take some liquid glue and glue that lower corner piece in first. That makes it easiest to line up. I'm going to put that right against the edge of my paper, like that. And next I'm going to put the dark colored middle frame in, and that will help you line up all your other pieces. Once that piece is glued down, it makes the perfect frame and it's easy to put all the other pieces in place. As I'm gluing this down though, I realize I made an error and I actually cut my paper a little bit too wide. I cut it to 4 1/4 instead of 4. So I went ahead and cut that edge off, and now I'm ready to put the rest of the pieces in. At this point, you can just put your glue right on the copy paper and place all the pieces in. Since I had decided ahead of time which piece was going to go where, it makes it really easy, and all you have to do is pop them all in place. Once you're done, if you have any little excess white, you can just use a scissor to trim that off. And then you'll want to repeat this process 3 more times with the other pieces so you'll have a set of 4 cards. The white piece is going to go in the center, but I'm not going to glue it in yet because I want to decide what I want on it, and I might want to stamp it before I glue it in. Here are the 4 card versions now. So we've got each of the papers used, and you can see how easy it is to make 4 cards using the 4 pieces of paper and the die. I'm using our Natural Basics paper pad today, but you could certainly use any of our other basic paper pads. We've got bright and pastel and black and white, or you could try a cat or dog paper. That would be super cute, or a holiday paper would work perfectly for this project too. So there's so many possibilities. You could take the centers, add those in, add a sentiment, and your card is done. Or you can do what I'm doing today and add a few other die cuts or stamped images. I'm going to be using our Coffee Silhouettes die set to add some die cuts. This one has some really cute coffee mugs and a little bit of whipped topping. And then I'm going to use some books from our Bookmark 2 die set. This is a bookmark, but it also has these fun dies inside it that you can cut out books, and you could either do them vertically or stacked. So I'm going to do some stacked books with a coffee mug to make a card with a coffee and book theme today. I also picked out some papers to cut out that I thought matched the Natural Basics paper pad, so that's what I'm going to be using. So now I've got all my pieces cut out. I've got the 2 books with the book centers from the Bookmark 2 die set, and then I cut out a cute little coffee mug with the whipped cream on top from the Coffee Silhouettes. Those I'm going to stack on my card. I also needed a sentiment, so I pulled out our Never Enough book stamp set. It's got a bunch of books and a coffee mug, and the sentiment, happiness is coffee and a good book. So I stamped that on one of the white centers, and now we're ready to glue everything together. So now you can see everything's put together. There's that sentiment and the diamond in the center, and then there's the books and the coffee mug that I stacked below it. I just used some liquid adhesive to adhere those onto the card, and then I mounted the whole panel on a white cardstock base. For the second card, again, I used that same panel on the white cardstock base and the 2 mugs from the Coffee Silhouettes die set. For the sentiment, I used Sending You a Birthday Brew from our Time for Coffee stamp set. This stamp set has a bunch of fun coffee images, along with some coffee-themed sentiments. The next card features the same sentiment, Sending You a Birthday Brew. This time I used the to-go mug, added that cute little heart on it, and stacked 2 books below it. So very similar to the last one. So for my final card, I used a stamped image and sentiment from our Time for Coffee stamp set. I used the coffee grinder paired with the I can't espresso how much you bean to me. Isn't that cute? So I stamped and colored the image and added that to the card, and I tucked the sentiment right beside it and then stamped on a circle cut out with our Circle Frames die set. So that's the collection of cards I've created today, and you can see how quick and easy it is to create those 4 card backgrounds using 4 pieces of paper and our fractured card front die set. Really super quick and easy. And like I said, you could just leave the sentiments in the center, or you could embellish them with anything like I did. Here I used a coffee theme and added that to everything, but you could definitely do this with any theme you liked. It's just as quick and easy. So that's everything I've created today. These coffee cards would be awesome to send to someone who loves coffee. You could even package them up together and give them as a gift. You can find everything I've used today over in our shop at newtonsnookdesigns.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful crafty day.